say? There will be many cities where the minority will be able to put into the streets a superior number of people with a desperate and dangerous will, right? He will be a formidable enemy, for he is bound to the continent by heritage and knows that political asylum will not be available to him in other countries. So what does that mean? We're not from anywhere else.
We can't go.
And we can't go anywhere else. And then how are we the minority, less numbers, but we can put into the streets more people? You see the trick? Right? And then, this is what they also talk about, right? Here's some of their diversion, right, to keep us distracted. The primary strategy. Experience has proven that the simplest method of securing a silent weapon and gaining control over the public is to keep the public undisciplined and ignorant of basic systems principles on one hand, while keeping them confused, disorganized, and distracted with matters of no real importance on the other hand. This is achieved by 1. Disengaging their minds, sabotaging their mental activities by providing a low-quality program of public education in mathematics, logic, systems design, economics, and by disencouraging technical creativity. Number 2, engaging their emotions, increasing their self-indulgence and their indulgence in emotional and physical activities by A, unrelenting emotional affrontations and attacks, mental and emotional rape, by way of constant barrage of sex, violence, and wars in the media. That's how they got me to join the military, because I kept seeing that. I was like, oh, yo, put up a good fight. Same thing with Captain America, right? Captain America, he's European, but then in the movies he's getting beat up, so you kind of feel bad for him, and then he saved the day. See the trick?
Hold on.
Especially the TV and the newspaper, giving them what they desire in excess, junk food for thought, and depriving them of what they really need. Remember we were just talking about the food? Right? Rewriting history and law, and subjecting the public to the deviant creation, thus being able to shift their thinking from personal needs to highly fabricated outside priorities. These preclude their interest in and discovery of the silent weapons of social autonomy technology, meaning this thing itself. You know what I'm saying? So people know that there's something going on, but they won't even think about, this is exactly what's going on, it's systematic, it's planned, here's the proof. They think they have to pay off their mortgage and pay off rent, so they go work, and then come home drained.
Yeah.
That's what they want. That's what we're suffering from. We keep calling it racism, it's genocide. The general rule is that there is profit in confusion. The more confusion, the more profit. Therefore, the best approach is to create problems, then offer the solutions. So they deliberately create problems and then offer solutions. So remember we was talking about the attorneys? You know what I mean? They create the problems for our people, then we go to their courts, the attorneys work for them, and they give us the solution. And they still win. Divergent summary. Huh?
That's how you create dependence.
Yeah, that's one of the 48 laws of power. Keep the people dependent on you, and then you win. Media. Keep the adult public attention diverted away from real social issues and captivated by matters of no real importance. So like hip-hop, housewives, whatever, all that crap that don't teach you crap about crap. Right? Just keep you in your lower self because it's crappy. Schools. Keep the young public ignorant of real mathematics, real economic, real laws, and real history. Entertainment. Keep the public entertained below a 6th grade level.
Wow.
Work. Keep the public busy with no time to think. Back on the farm with the other animals. Meaning back on real stuff that matters, like growing food, taking care of your house. Because you gotta work. You see what I'm saying? And these are just some of the things, right? And then here's consent. The primary victory. So their primary victory is us agreeing. Because again, who are we? Allah made manifest, God made manifest, Allah, Jehovah, Yahweh, whatever you want to call it, we're that creator made manifest. So as long as we agree to everything, they can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
So in the Bible it says he has no power, at least what you give him. I know you heard me say this, but this is also for the camera. He has no power, at least what you give to him. Their whole thing is consent. They need it. Absolutely. Right? A silent weapon systems system operates upon data obtained from a docile public by legal but not always lawful force. This is where the democracy comes in, where they're de facto, they're not legitimate, they just exist in reality. This is where the contracts come in, where we agree. It's not prescribed by law, but since we agree, it's legal, right? Much information is made available to silent weapons system programmers through the Internal Revenue Service, right? Because people just give them the information thinking that they're government. This information consists of the enforced delivery of well-organized data obtained in federal and state tax forms collected, assembled, and submitted by slave labor. The book of Job in the Bible. Job, Job, spelled the same.
Mm-hmm.
Slave labor provided by taxpayers and employers. Now, it's important to know that an employee is a servant. It's different from independent contractor where you're providing a service. That's why when people go to work, they agree to the W-4, and they take taxes out of their paycheck that they keep calling income, not wages or compensation for services rendered or commission. They call it nothing but income, which is not. You know what I'm saying? And it's anything but income. That's the trick.
That's where it's at right there.
Furthermore, the number of such forms submitted to the IRS is a useful indicator of public consent, an important factor in strategic decision making. Other data sources are given in the short list of inputs: consent coefficients, numerical feedback indicating victory status, psychological basis. So this is where they're gauging if their system is working on the people. This is how they're gauging it. When the government is able to collect tax and seize private property without just compensation, it is an indication that the public is ripe for surrender and is consenting to enslavement and legal encroachment. A good and easily quantified indicator of harvest time is the number of public citizens who pay income tax despite an obvious lack of reciprocal or honest service. So we see the streets all messed up. Clearly it's not going there. Then the government shut down. The government shut down 2 weeks ago. And then again, the 8th or 7th. So, and their excuse was lack of funds. So clearly you're not paying them. Clearly. Yet, are people going to wake up tomorrow, pay the IRS, and they're not even government? And we talk, and I'll say this for y'all. You can write down Diversified Metal Products versus Tebow Company, and I have the paperwork, so I'll just show you afterwards. It's the United States Corporation Company admits that the IRS isn't government. So again, that's Diversified Metal Products versus Tebow Company and the IRS, right? And these are just basics of how they're looking at how to control us. And their main thing is consent, and that starts with the schools, the mines, right? And then if you even read like the Willie Lynch Manual and the Christian Black Codes, they had to suppress the women to suppress us, the men, because she creates us. This is why you'll see like the Masons, the Shriners, they have the Sphinx head representing women, and then the crescent representing women, and then they have a sword over the head, meaning the subjugation of the Moorish woman, her mind, which subjugates her womb, which subjugates us, the males. So the attack looks like it's on the males, but it's really on the woman. You get the women, you get the nation. This is why black people are catching hell. You see what I'm saying? But yeah, what you said earlier brought me just bring you know what I mean? Right to this. Because there's a system at play, a system. It's not racist because they don't like us. There is a system because this is our land.
Yeah.
And they want to administrate our land, which they are doing. And this is how they do it.
Can you see that, what was it, metal versus IRS?
Can you give me that binder, please? I'll just read it and then I'll give it to you. Just for them too. It's somewhere in here.
End up having class after class.
That's great, man. This is your life, huh?
Yeah. Oh, so
it really is.
So this is the United States Attorney, Richard R. Ward, Trial Attorney, Tax Division, U.S. Department of Justice. All right. So it's Diversified Metal Products versus Tebow Company Trust, and I'll just show it to you. And then they admit, right? It says the United States denies that the Internal Revenue Service is an agency of the United States government. So what does that mean? That means they're not government. And then Article 1, Section 8 of the Constitution says only Congress can lay and collect taxes. You get it? So if you get something from someone who's not government, even if they are government, you still have the right to ask, let me see your authority. Let me see your delegation of authority, meaning let me see your letter from Congress granting you the authority to collect taxes from me. If they cannot produce that document, they can't collect taxes. You see what I'm saying? So we have to enforce the Constitution. You know what I'm saying? And most people don't know, most people think the IRS is government, right? But here's the attorneys for the United States Corporation Company admitting that they're not government.
Freaking ridiculous.
Right?
It's ridiculous.
This is why in the Bible it says my people perish by the day for the lack of knowledge. Not faith, not belief. It said knowledge. That's not belief. I don't believe that. That exists. You know what I'm saying?
It's for a fact.
Yeah. I don't have faith that, oh, the IRS isn't government. No, it's right
It's here, black and white.
Yeah, and if you go to the last page, you'll see the attorney's signature. So, I mean, what more do you want? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, they get us in a legal way. It's not always lawful. Because lawfully, they can't collect taxes. But me, right, let's just say I'm the IRS, right? I send you something in the mail, right? And remember, it's that all capital letters name, so it ain't you, but you think it's you. I send you something in the mail saying, you know what? You owe Jamal Revenue Service Company this much tax money. And you don't know law, you don't know the Constitution says only Congress can collect taxes. You think they're government, and based off your crappy education that they gave you in school, you don't know anything else, so you just pay. Consent. Because you agreed, you paid it. That's how they get us. And then not only that, but they have the police, their army, martial law, they have them on our land, locking us up if we don't pay. We're under colonial occupation. We're not facing racism. It's colonial occupation. Genocide, terrorism, colonial occupation, not racism. This is how they're doing it.
And black and white.
Yep, black and white. Literally on paper, black and white.
It changed a lot for me this week. Honestly, because I'm like blind to like
Most of us are.
genocide, but I'm hell bent on racism.
Yeah, and they want us to focus on things that aren't real. Right? If you look up the definition of racism, yeah.
I go and I work for this white man, of course, and he's the nicest guy ever, man. He's cool, man. I feel like quitting every day because of who I work for, not of what he actually does. He'll buy me shit. He'll freaking be like, hey, you know what? Do you need anything? His family are, you know, well educated, you know, mad cool, down to earth. And I'm like, where is the racism?
Yeah,
like they'll take me in, they'll take the clothes off their back and give it to me. Where is the racism?
It's not there. It's the system. It's the like the Christian Black codes, the Buck Act,
But
the
he's
Negro
an
Act.
Edomite, though.
No, they all are. You have to understand.
That's what I'm telling you.
Listen. I'm telling you to listen. You have to understand what an Edomite is. Edomite. The word Edo is derived from pedo, which means child. The suffix mite is derived from a Hamatite or a hermit, like the 7 Hermetic principles. We are the original hermits. We taught them, so they're the child of the hermit. This is why you must know history. When as an example, like when the Greeks came into Kemet, or what you call Africa or Egypt, right? They sat at our feet, so they're the child of us. This is why Elijah Muhammad in his lessons he said, "What is a Mason?" And the answer was a Muslim son. We're the original Muslims. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not challenging you. I'm challenging what they taught you to believe. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because so we're just like, as an example, you call him white. He's not white. You're white. I'm white. Everyone in this room is white. They're the only ones who aren't. That's part of the trick. You see what I'm saying?
White is a free person.
Yeah. It's a social status, not a skin tone. But they have us thinking it's a skin tone. So instead of saying, you know what, IRS is a government, we say, well, that's racist, and then nothing happens. Because you can't fight racism. Because if you look at the definition of the word race, it means to shoot out. And then ism is a way of life or practice. So we all know we shot out from the original African woman. So racism is the continuation of the human species, and there's only one. The human race, only one. So if you argue racism, you're arguing something that doesn't exist.
That's true. Because you think of racism, you mostly think of your race, and then you're like wanting your race to prosper,
Yes.
or more or less yourself. That's why you're thinking of racism being tone of color or,
And it's absolutely not.
Nationality.
But there's a difference, because nationality is what we should be arguing, not race. People are, they're replacing the word nationality with race, which that's not how it works. The human family is split up into different nationalities, but we're still one. You see what I'm saying? So to argue anything else would be outside of the human race. So if you say black race, that doesn't exist. Anything outside of human is cat, dog, fish,
The only thing
monkey.
they would argue with you is that they were chosen. Or you.
Who's chosen?
You're the chosen ones.
Who?
Well,
All right. So when my father planted his seed in my mother, that sperm cell who made it, right? That's the chosen one. And you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here. We're all the chosen one.
Out of 12,000 sperm cells.
We're all chosen. We made it here. We got chosen to be here. Heaven and hell is in the mind. It's a condition of the mind.
That's lower self, higher self.
Yeah, it's the higher self and lower self. And these are the things that they should be teaching in church, in school, but they're not doing it because they all make economic gain off us being suppressed. And then they don't teach us like the 3 degrees, the belief, the faith, and the fruition. They keep people on belief and faith. They don't teach them how to manifest. That would be the fruition. You know what I'm saying? And that's right in the Bible.
Yeah.
And they don't teach that.
There's nothing in the Bible to support that there even is a hell. There's nothing. You can't find it.
And you would have to study like the Inquisition. Like they use fear. That was their main tool, was fear. Same thing they're doing right now, fear. To control people. Keep us dumb.
True. You do it yourself.
Yeah.
Every day.
Because we're trained to do it.
We get better and better at it.
It's a self-perpetuating system that they put us in. And only knowledge would get us out.
It's crazy because, like, I would be like, hey, bud, you know what? I need this because this guy, you know, he's asking. But truly, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for it. And I want that.
Exactly. And even in the Circle 7 Quran, it talks about, so if you were to find your devil, it's in self. If you were to find your savior, it's in self. All the prophets came and said that. The problem is, the same Roman clergymen that's ruling the world right now, they kill the prophets, twist the story for their benefit, and that's right in Thessalonians, where they put themselves on the throne of God and call themselves God. That's why they call themselves white people. Because white means purity, purity means God, God means ruler of the land. This is your land, not theirs. So you gave him the title of your nobility or your status. You see what I'm saying?
Words of power.
Yeah, and you can look that up right in the law book, right there. It says that they're not white people.
They can keep that.
Keep what?
That white status.
No, that's ours.
No.
Well,
Humans are
when you're
colored.
talking like that,
Talking like what?
when you say that I gave them that white, so-called white power, and I don't believe it.
I said you did because you called them white.
I know, but
Yeah.
words is power.
Yeah, so you gave them that power.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm guilty.
Yeah, we all are. We all are.
Guilty, yeah. Because I mean, it's not more or less that I think that I'm white or
No,
not
you can go ahead,
because I was born here
Yeah.
and raised here, but my skin and my blood is not from here.
Where you from?
Dominican Republic.
You're an American.
Yeah, because I was born here.
No,
No, DR is
no,
part of America.
no. Listen,
Oh, Lord.
You know,
America,
what is-
DR now?
listen,
No, not like that. Alright, go ahead.
listen.
Sorry.
If you look up, can you get the Noah Webster's 1828, please?
I believe that
No.
somewhere there is a line, and that line was broken, and we're all one.
Yes.
We're all
Yes.
nations
You're
and
American.
all
Yes, no, yes.
Earth. We're all
Yes.
one.
Yeah, but what I'm telling you is, That one. Look up the definition of the word American. Look it up. American.
American
Yep.
Dictionary. Should say it in the front. American Dictionary of English Language.
Yep. You see the difference? American, and then of the English. Already there's a separation. Now look up the definition of the word American.
Is that
Right.
under A?
Yes.
You can go.
And then you'll see that you are an American not because you were born here, but because you, well, Dominican are the Europeans that came here, but because you're more. You know what I'm saying? Morena, like, because the islands are part of America. The continents, they have us thinking America is just here.
Yeah.
American?
Yes.
Like, I'll deal with my apple Christmas.
Yeah, for real.
There's the A and the M.
A-N.
You know we were gonna talk about this.
I have a lot of things highlighted.
I know.
American.
I
What does it say?
Prepared when you came in.
A native of America, originally applied to the
Right, Ray, you got an
Aboriginals
umbrella?
or copper-colored races found here by the Europeans.
Now you said skin tone, right? Just because you're a little lighter than us doesn't mean you're not American. It said various copper toned. Various. So since they want to play the color game, they're not Americans.
There you go. And copper. What is copper?
What is copper?
Copper's like
It
yellow.
says, but
No,
now,
That shit's orange.
Copper's brown.
but now applies
But
to the
you know what I
descendants
mean,
of
like-
Europeans born in
Like
America.
darker colors, not light.
Oh
What did
yeah,
you
yeah.
say?
No, look.
It says, but now applied to the
But
descendants
now,
of Europeans born
so
in
but
America.
what is the original meaning?
Native American. Native of America,
And who is-
originally applied to Aboriginals.
And then remember in class when Al Moroccan is a variant of, well, American is a variant of Al Moroccan, and the Moors are dark-skinned people.
Yeah.
But now it applies to them because they're stealing our birthright. And we're giving it to them because we're calling them white and we're calling them Americans, but they're foreigners.
It's another one I can look up.
Black.
Does that have the original definition in that?
That has etymology in it. Yeah.
Oh, does it?
You know what? I could tell bullshit from a long way, and you know, this makes a lot of sense.
Because life is simple.
The word black. Black, pale.
Now when you read, this is what they don't teach you, right? You see the brackets?
Yeah.
That's the etymology. They'll have, and those, like that right there, that's black in the Saxon language. And you'll see the D, the Dutch, and then the DAN, the Danish. So that's the same word as it's transliterated into that language. So the definitions of words do not change. The spelling of it may change according to the language, but the definitions do not change. And then right after black it says A, right? That means adjective. That means it's not a person, place, or thing. You see, it's not a person, place, or thing. It's a descriptive. So you're not wearing a white, you're wearing a white shirt. Shirt is the noun. And then, so what does black mean?
Black. It is a remarkable. There's so many here. I don't know which one is the.
No, so it's
Or is
so-
that down there?
so black, right? Saxon, black. And then it's variance, black. Pale, so it means pale, wan, livid, bleaking, right? To become pale, to turn white, to become black, to blacken. And then down right here it says the primary sense, primary sense seems to be pale. So black means what? Pale. And then, you know, when you go to like our family member's funeral, you see their skin tone, it's pale, right? Because their life force is gone.
The melanin is starting to drain.
Exactly. So pale means death. If you go to certain Latin dictionaries, I don't think I brought it, but negro, which is black in Spanish, means death. This is why when you call certain Spanish people black, they get offended because they know it means death, and black people give up their birthright. So you call them moreno, morena, Moors.
I have a random question. This might be stupid. It's
No such thing as a stupid question.
like, so necrophilia, like the whatever of dead people.
Necro.
Yeah, necro.
Negro, necro.
Yeah. So the only thing, the C and G,
Mhm.
is it what you would call interchangeable?
Well, it's transliterated
Oh, okay.
due to certain sounds. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And actually, El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, there's a picture of him. Malcolm X, there's a picture of him doing this same thing you just did, showing how Negro is Necro.
Yeah.
And then he corrected his name to a Moorish name, and then that's why they eliminated him, because they couldn't control him no more. Well, they couldn't control him anyway, but they couldn't buy him off. You see what I'm saying? So yes, that wasn't stupid. So stop thinking things are stupid.
Well, I mean, I knew that it was some sort of derivative. But
Yeah. And then even Blanco means white. Blanco sounds like what? This is why they said they're not going to teach you basics in school, because you would make that connection.
That sounds like BLAC or BLAK.
And those are its transliterated versions right in that Bible. I mean, the book.
What else can I look up again?
Whatever you want.
He's like, what else can I learn? No, you know it's a really fun book to look through.
Oh, you can look in this one.
The law library. Black's Law Dictionary.
I'm telling you, Black's
It's
Law
so-
Dictionary
I
is
love-
literally in the
yeah.
city.
Black.
It's right under
Black
that
Amor.
red
This
book.
is-
I love
That's a
looking
law
through
dictionary.
that.
Look up Black Amor, and it's highlighted, so you can't miss that one either.
All my favorite sites are highlighted.
Yeah. And I highlighted this because I was studying. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Mhm.
What does it say?
Blackamoor, a dark-skinned person.
And you know what a compound word is?
No.
A compound word is two or more words put together. So you see how it says black lowercase, and then the noun Moor is uppercase. So that's the proper noun. So those people think that they're black or Moors. And in certain books, they'll say any dark-skinned person. You see a correlation between dark skin and then Americans, one of the various copper tone natives.
That's us.
This is crazy. That's not crazy. It's beautiful.
Crazy means broken or weak.
It's everything I thought it was going to be like.
Right?
It's gonna make you stronger.
Don't they say what is knowledge is power, right?
Knowledge is power. This is a fact. I think I might just walk right
Yeah.
over.
He's like,
Your house.
can I take a picture?
I'm a guest. Oh yeah, for real. Take as many pictures as you want, especially the law book.
Oh boy.
Yep. Especially the law book.
Your phone. So you said take a picture.
Take a picture?
Oh no, he went to go turn off the.
No, I thought my sink was overflowing for some reason.
This. See, there's a lot of stuff in this plan. There's a lot of stuff in this. And let me just read the beginning.
What is it?
This is the Rex 84 plan. Their plan to like kill our people off and stuff like that. And what they're using to what they're gonna use to exterminate us as a people through their race war that they're trying to start as an excuse to get rid of us.
Also the attack on masculinity.
Yeah, and that's part of the
Part of the plan.
yeah, specifically the Willie Lynch manual, because they talk about switching the genders of the male and the female, and then they talk about to deal with the rebellious Negro, to beat him within an inch of his life, to pretty much publicly shame him, so like other people don't follow them, do what they're doing, and the women like just
Especially
But I don't
the
want that,
women.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
let me see, because they talk about the qualifications to even receive this manual. You have to be able to view social conditions with cold objectivity, meaning not to be emotionally involved.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And this is where when it's talked about in the
Where'd you get that?
Huh? You can get this on RV Bay too.
Oh.
Yeah. RVBaypublications.com.
I wrote it down already.
Oh, you did?
I sure did.
All right. Let me see if I can find it. All right. So I'll just read it, right? This booklet contains vital excerpts from Executive Order 11490, October 19th, 1969, the King Alfred Plan, also known as the Rex 84 Plan, the concentration camps, the FEMA camps that everyone's talking about.
Yep.
All right, this was supposed to be top secret. It's called Silent Weapons for Silent Wars.
I know what this is.
Yeah, so yeah, It's the introductory program manual, manual of operations, technical manual. So this is what politicians are going off of. The chief of police, they're going off of this. Top military members are going off of this. Because like in the military, when you get secret clearances, it's based off a need-to-know basis and what your rank is. So if you're like a front man, you don't necessarily need to know everything that's going on. You just need to know enough. You see what I'm saying? And so these so-called cops on the streets, they know. You know what I'm saying? But there's various knowledges of them knowing. And then like we were talking earlier, when we're out in public, people feel more comfortable with just what us saying the word black. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like you just let them do what they do. So it's everyone knows there's something going on, but they're not going to teach the people because they can lose their life because they all take oaths not to teach this. Right? So this executive order 11490, the Rex 84 plan, and silent weapons for quiet wars have been in the hands of the popularly accepted individuals calling themselves black leaders since the early 1970s. Many have spoken of them, but few have logistically broken them down and disseminated the information to their alluring public. The King Alfred plan implicates the true motive and reason why they do not. And that was just an excerpt. But I want to get into that specific thing. And there's exotic maps of the United States and stuff like that. Let me see. So this was the Secretary, Department of Interior, Combined Memo, Department of Justice, Federal Bureau of Investigation, CIA. There are 12 major minority organizations, and all are familiar to the 22 million. Dossiers have been compiled on the leaders of the organizations and can be studied in Washington. The material contained in many of the dossiers and our threat to reveal that material has considerably held in check the activities of some of the leaders. So remember, was it last week when I did Exposing the Dirty Moors?
Yeah.
Where I exposed the agreement between the so-called Narragansett tribe of Indians in the state of Rhode Island, how they're the same, they're in cahoots. So they hold that, oh, remember this agreement? They hold that over their heads.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Leaders who do not have such usable material in their dossiers have been approached to take government posts, mostly as ambassadors and primarily in African countries. The promise of these positions has also materially contributed to a temporary slowdown of minority activities. So all these so-called black people, talking about their forward people, they know that black in law means civiliter mortuus, means civically dead, meaning dead in the eyes of the law, meaning every time you say I'm black, Spanish, Indian, West Indian, Latin American, you tell whoever that I don't have to be recognized at law. That's what you say. And these so-called black leaders know this. These so-called doctors, which means teacher, right? All the other individuals claiming to be anything, they know this. You see what I'm saying? That's why we're in the position we're in, because no one's met, I like to say, the testicular fortitude. No one has the testicular fortitude to just tell people, but some people do. Or ovarian fortitude, whatever you want to call it. Right? Right? The promise of these positions has also materially contributed to a temporary slowdown of minority activities. However, we do not expect these slowdowns to be of long duration, because there are always new and dissident elements joining these organizations with the potential to replace the old leaders. All organizations and their leaders are under constant 24-hour surveillance. The organizations are the Black Muslims, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, Congress of Racial Equality, the Euro Movement, Group on Advanced Leadership, Freedom Now Party, United Black Nationalists of America, the Pan-African Movement, the Pan-African Movement, the Pan-African Movement.
One more time, give it back.
Sellouts, right? The National Urban League, the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, Christian Black Codes, Article 21, 22, blacks can't own property. And then if you read the charter of the NAACP, it'll say right in their charter, you can't own property, and I put that in my book as well. Because remember, colored is something fake, right? Read that right in the law book. Fake people or property cannot own property. That's why they put mortgages on our people in Indian titles. Read it right in the law book. Both of those say not ownership. Committee on Racial and Religious Progress, and then even with the Moorish Science Temple of America and their infiltration after Noble Drew Ali passed. Anyone claiming to be Moorish Science Temple of America, Inc. is a sellout. Anyone saying that they're not supposed to teach you law and civics, so you don't have to pay no foreigners rent on your own land, is a sellout. Anyone talking about driving and traveling, whatever, that's how you get arrested, is a sellout. They get paid to keep us confused. Because there is no confusion. Didn't you just say it makes perfect sense? There is no confusion. See what I'm saying? But they're testing weak minds. Because, like they said, where there's confusion, there's profit.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? At the appropriate time to be designated by the president, the leaders of some of these organizations are to be detained only when it is clear they cannot prevent the emergency. This is why you see, whenever the Europeans kill one of our people, they have their token black leader up there trying to calm us down. Whenever they can't do that anymore, they're fired.
Mm-hmm. They fired it, and then they just start attacking us too.
Mm-hmm. Working with local public officials during the first critical hours. All other leaders are to be detained at once. Compiled list of minority leaders have been readied at the National Data Computer Center. It is necessary to use the minority leaders designated by the president in much the same manner in which we use minority members who are agents with central and federal. And we cannot, until there is no alternative, reveal King Alfred in all its aspects. Minority members of Congress will be unseated at once. This move is not without precedent in American history, meaning they've already done this before. Even when they were overthrowing our government, when the Moors were running stuff, they said, get down or lay down, pretty much. Mm-hmm. And if you look up the definition of democracy, it's the mob ruling. It's the mob in a ruling class. That's what the mob does. And then that goes back to the Antiquitera Divina I told you to write down, their Unum Sanctum, the Doctrine of Discovery, where they're going to come here and force Christianity on us, strip us of our name and nationality. Mm-hmm. So now we're just 3/5 of a human being. No nationality, no religion, no nationality. 3/5. See what I'm saying? And your nationality is standing at law. See? Because these are divine principles. Honor thy mothers and thy fathers so that thy days will be lengthened upon this earth land. Not some cloud heaven. Earth land. Right? We good? We tracking? Alright. See what I'm saying? This is divine law. There is no separation of church and state. There was never a separation. Because guess where the law comes from? The divine, right? Declaration of Independence. Nature's law and nature's God. This is a human right. We're divine beings. You see what I'm saying? So all of this is in play at one in the first instance, right now. That's why when I said you gave them that power by calling them white, you did, because you are God. Mm-hmm. The word God is derived from Sanskrit, huta, which means to call upon, to invoke, to pour out. This is why they said first was the Word. And the Word was God. And the Word was with God. And all things come into existence through Him, the Word. Because there's power in words. Mm. It's that simple. It's really simple, and it's not complicated at all. And all these people know this. They all get the knowledge on etymology. They all know that this land is Morocco, not the United States. The trick is to call it the United States to remove us from our inheritance claim of the land. Mm-hmm. Because people are named after the land, or the land is named after the people. So where are Chinese people from?
China.
Where are Germans from?
Germany.
Where are Nicaraguans from?
Yeah.
Where are French people from?
France.
Where are black people from?
They're from black.
From
Where's
Imagination World.
Can you point to black on a map? Where are white people from?
Who knows?
From white.
See the trick?
The Caucasus Mountains.
The Caucasus Mountains. Freaking Caucasians, yo.
And they're not even Caucasians.
Mm.
Do the research on that. They're not Caucasians. Right. So this is deep. You know, it affects everything we do. This affects everything we do. It affects it. You know what I'm saying? So when we go out buying stuff, we're dealing with commerce, we're dealing with law. And then our people call it the white man's law. Because they don't know that they're the white men. And we taught the Europeans. You got to look up the Renaissance. Look up all the Crusades, all the Inquisitions. And you'll see that the democracy is a continuation of the Spanish Inquisition. That was that the Pope allowed Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand to perpetuate against our people. And they if you do research on them, they are the ones who first started to bureaucratize the Inquisition, making it like more of a legal battle. You know what I'm saying? And that's where you get the Roman Curia from. That means Roman courts. All these commercial courts that they're claiming that, like Superior Court downtown, that's a Roman court. That's not constitutional. That's why in 1871, when they moved government to Washington, D.C., they created another constitution, the Constitution of the United States, instead of the Constitution for the United States of America. There's a difference. So when you go in there and they talk about Constitution, they're not talking about the one you think they're talking about. This is why they say in court, do you understand?
Yep. Do you understand that you're agreeing to be ran
and
by
they need your signature.
our Constitution?
They need it.
Yeah.
And then they'll hold you until they get it. This is why we need to learn how to sign contracts.
Yep.
You need to know that contract made under threat, duress, or coercion, meaning, oh, you know what, we'll hold you in the cell until we don't know when.
Because
But
they
you
can't
can sign this
proceed.
contract and you can go home. You need to learn how to sign that contract. And don't think just because you can read words that you know how to read.
Yeah.
Facts. So I don't know how to read after this.
Yeah. Once I figured out I didn't know how to read, I was like, wow, I really don't know how to read. And you have to know etymology. And it's not an assault on any of us. I went to Bailey, and then I went to Perry, and then I went to Tolman in Pawtucket. I'm no one special. You know what I'm saying? I went to the same school. It's just I accepted that I was fooled, and I had to reteach myself. And that's the only way that we are gonna fix anything, is if we educate ourselves and then try to help those who are looking for it. You know what I mean? That's it. Just like in the Quran it said, if you're gonna find your savior, it's self. There's no magical fairy coming down and saving us. That's not how it works. We have to put in the work and the merit, and that's it. Whatever we reap, we sow. We don't sow nothing. That's why there is nothing. You know what I mean?
Makes perfect sense.
I have to take. I work a few hours.